Hey everyone, and welcome back to Better Health Seniors. Today I want to talk about something incredibly important, something that often gets overlooked when we talk about staying active, especially after the age of 60. You wake up, you take a deep breath, and you tell yourself, I'm doing this for my health. Maybe you stretch, maybe you go for a walk, or try a routine you saw online, and that's fantastic. The desire to stay active, to live fully, is truly commendable. But what if, without even realizing it, some of the very movements you're choosing are quietly hurting the one thing you're trying so hard to protect? Your heart. I know that sounds dramatic, but it's true. After 60, your body responds to exercise differently. Your heart is wiser, yes, but also more sensitive. Types of movement that worked wonders when you were younger can now, in the wrong body, at the wrong age, done the wrong way, become silent threats. Not because you're weak, but because your heart deserves a different kind of care. Today, I want to gently show you 5 exercises that might be slowly, silently damaging your heart. They don't look dangerous. In fact, they're often promoted as healthy. But I'll also share better, safer alternatives that protect your heart and help you feel strong, energized, and confident. So if you're someone who still believes in staying active and protecting that beautiful heart that's carried you through so much, this video is for you. Before we dive in, would you do me a small favor? Leave a quick comment below with a number 1 if you want more honest, heart-centered health videos like this. And hit subscribe to join the Better Health Seniors community. We make every video with you in mind. All right, let's begin. 1. The treadmill of too much. High-intensity interval training, HIIT. The very first exercise I'm begging you to reconsider might just be the trendiest one of all. You know, one of the most heartbreaking things I've seen in my years as a heart doctor is this: seniors who try their very best to stay active and end up hurting the very organ they're trying to protect. It often starts with something innocent, a new gym class, a YouTube routine that promises youthful energy, or even a well-meaning trainer who says, just push through it. But when you're over 60, pushing too hard isn't bravery, it's risk. Let's talk about high-intensity interval training, or HIIT. Quick bursts of intense movement followed by short rests. It's trendy, it's popular, but it's also one of the most dangerous styles of exercise for older adults. Here's why. As we age, our blood vessels naturally stiffen, the heart muscle may thicken, and our ability to recover from sudden spikes in exertion slows down. That's not my opinion. That's from a study published in the Journal of Gerontology Medical Sciences, which found that older adults performing HIIT had significantly higher increases in systolic blood pressure and heart rate variability, both markers of cardiovascular stress, compared to those doing moderate continuous exercise. Imagine this. You're doing one of those quick routines, a minute of fast squats, 30 seconds of sprinting in place, 20 seconds of rest, and repeat. Your heart doesn't get a chance to stabilize. Instead, it's forced to go from 0 to 100 again and again. That's like flooring the gas pedal over and over in an old car with worn-out brakes. Something's going to give. One of my patients, Mr. Tom, 72 years old, thought he was doing himself a favor by following his grandson's workout videos. No pain, no gain, he used to say. But after just 2 weeks of these intense sessions, he ended up in my office with dizziness, shortness of breath, and wildly irregular heart rhythms. His blood pressure had been spiking without him even noticing. He thought it was just fatigue from aging, but his heart was waving a red flag. So what should you do instead? Choose movement that flows with your body, not against it. A 30-minute brisk walk, gentle swimming, Tai Chi in the park. These may not look dramatic, but they're incredibly powerful. A study from the American Heart Association showed that older adults who walked at a moderate pace for just 150 minutes a week had a 31% lower risk of heart-related events compared to sedentary seniors. You don't need to sweat buckets to stay strong. You need rhythm. You need gentleness. You need to protect the heart that's been beating for you every day for over 60 years. 2. The strain of strength. Crunches and heavy lifting. Now let's shift gears. Shall we talk about crunches and heavy lifting? You might think, I'm just trying to keep my muscles strong. But what if I told you that doing these exercises the wrong way, or doing too much of them, might be putting dangerous pressure on your heart. You see, every time you strain during a crunch or brace yourself to lift a heavy dumbbell, something powerful happens inside your body, and not in a good way. There's a sudden increase in something called intra-abdominal and intrathoracic pressure. That pressure doesn't just stay in your belly or chest, it pushes inward and upward, forcing your heart to work much harder to keep up. A 2018 study from the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology found that isometric and heavy resistance exercises caused acute spikes in blood pressure, especially in older adults. One participant in their 60s saw his systolic pressure shoot up to over 200 millimeters of mercury during a lifting session. Dangerously high. And the scariest part? He didn't feel any warning signs. These internal surges aren't something you can see or feel right away, but your heart does, especially if you've already got stiff arteries, hidden plaque, or a history of high blood pressure, which many people over 60 do, even without knowing it. Let me tell you about Susan. She's 68, full of life, and wanted to get stronger after her granddaughter asked if she could carry her backpack. So she started doing crunches and lifting weights at a local gym. No coach, no guidance. She just copied what she saw younger folks doing. 3 weeks in, she felt faint during her last rep. Her face turned pale. She thought it was dehydration. Turns out her blood pressure had jumped so high, she was lucky she didn't black out completely. Her heart was being crushed, not strengthened. This isn't to scare you, it's to empower you. You don't have to give up on building strength. In fact, maintaining muscle is one of the most important things you can do to stay independent as you age. But it has to be done wisely. So what's the smarter way? Trade the heavy dumbbells for resistance bands. Use controlled, slow motions instead of fast, jerky movements. Avoid holding your breath when lifting. That alone can spike your pressure instantly. And if you can, work with a trainer who understands senior physiology and cardiac safety. They exist. You just need to find the right one. Remember, strength isn't about how much you can lift. It's about how well you can live without injury, without strain, without fear. The temperature trap, extreme weather workouts. And speaking of strain, sometimes the biggest danger doesn't come from inside our bodies, but from the environment around us, especially when the weather changes suddenly and we're not prepared for how it can affect our hearts. Now let's talk about something that seems harmless, even refreshing sometimes. A morning walk in the crisp winter air, a light jog on a sunny afternoon. Sounds good, right? But if you're over 60, the temperature outside can quietly turn a healthy habit into a heart hazard. You might not feel it right away, but your heart does. The way our bodies respond to temperature shifts changes dramatically with age. When you were younger, your blood vessels could expand and contract with ease. Your internal thermostat adjusted quickly. But as you get older, this system loses flexibility, and that can spell trouble during both cold snaps and heat waves. In cold weather, your blood vessels constrict. They tighten up to preserve body heat. This sounds like a smart survival move, but it also increases your blood pressure. A study published in the American Journal of Hypertension found that adults over 60 had significantly higher blood pressure readings during colder months, especially after morning exposure. That added pressure puts a strain on the heart, especially one that may already be working harder due to age. On the other side of the spectrum, when it's too hot, your blood vessels dilate. They open up to release heat. This forces your heart to pump faster to maintain blood flow. Add in a bit of dehydration, and now your blood becomes thicker, harder to push, and your heart is working overtime just to cool you down. One of my longtime patients, Robert, 74, used to walk every day around 1 p.m., right when the sun was highest. He thought he was doing everything right. But one hot July afternoon, he collapsed halfway through his usual route. His heart wasn't reacting to exercise, it was reacting to heat stress. We later found out his blood pressure had dropped too quickly while his heart rate surged trying to keep up. That moment could have been prevented, and that's why I'm telling you now, the time of day and the temperature outside matter just as much as the exercise you're doing. So how do you stay active without putting your heart at risk? Pick cooler, consistent environments, early mornings before the sun gets too intense, or indoor spaces with good airflow and stable temperatures. Stay hydrated, and I don't just mean sipping water after your walk. Start hydrating before and continue during and after activity. Dress in layers for cold weather so you can peel off what you don't need. And always listen to the earliest whispers from your body. A slight shortness of breath, a subtle dizziness. Those are messages you can't afford to ignore. You don't need to give up your morning walks or your love of fresh air. The youthful rush. Fast-paced cardio and jerky movements. But there's one more hidden stressor, not from the weather, but from fast, youthful movements that can overwhelm an aging body. Let's dive into that next. There's something about fast-paced exercise that makes us feel alive, right? A few jumping jacks, a quick dance class, a little cardio burst. It feels like we're turning back the clock. But for seniors, especially those past 60, trying to keep up with the rhythm of youth can sometimes do more harm than good. I've seen it too many times. Older adults joining community fitness classes, following along with fast-paced YouTube workouts, trying to mimic burpees, step jumps, or stair sprints. It looks energizing on the outside, but inside your body, your balance, your circulation, your heart may be overwhelmed. Let's start with what really happens in your body during these sudden, jerky movements. As we age, our nervous system reacts slower. Our reflexes aren't as sharp, balance becomes a little less reliable, and our arteries lose their elasticity. That means when you jump, twist, or change direction quickly, your heart and blood vessels must respond in milliseconds, and sometimes they simply can't. A study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity showed that adults over 65 had a significantly delayed cardiovascular response to sudden exercise, especially during activities that required balance and coordination. This delay can result in irregular heart rhythms, oxygen flow imbalance, or blood pressure spikes that leave you dizzy, breathless, or worse on the ground. Take Mrs. Ellen, a joyful 70-year-old who loves Zumba. She felt proud being able to keep up with younger participants, but during one routine involving quick side steps and hops, she tripped. Not because she was clumsy, but because her balance was thrown off by a tiny delay between her brain's command and her body's reaction. She didn't break anything, thank goodness. But the fall left her shaken, and her heart, she told me later, had been racing for over an hour after class ended. This isn't about giving up. It's about choosing the right kind of movement for the body you have today, not the one you had at 30. When you choose slower, more fluid exercises like Tai Chi, water aerobics, or even gentle stretching flows, something beautiful happens. Your body isn't shocked, it's supported. Your heart isn't thrown into chaos, it's calmed. And your joints, muscles, and balance all get stronger in harmony. One of the most underrated benefits of gentle movement is how it preserves your independence. When your body feels steady, confident, and safe, you're more likely to keep moving every day. And that's where the real transformation begins. Not in one dramatic workout, but in quiet, daily consistency. The nighttime nudge, working out too close to bedtime. And while fast moves can shake your system, working out too close to bedtime quietly unsettles your heart in another way. Let's talk about it next. After a long day, the house quiets down, dinner's done, and for many seniors, that feels like the perfect time to move a little. Maybe it's a short walk, a few stretches, or even a light cardio session before bed. It feels peaceful, it feels productive. But what if I told you that moving too late at night, even gently, could quietly rob your heart of one of its most vital healing windows? Sleep is more than rest, it's repair. And for your heart, especially after 60 deep, undisturbed sleep, is when real recovery happens. But if you exercise too close to bedtime, your body might stay alert longer than it should. That's not just a theory, it's backed by science. A study in experimental physiology found that late evening workouts significantly elevated nighttime heart rate and core body temperature in older adults. And while younger participants returned to baseline within an hour or two, seniors' nervous systems remained activated much longer, delaying their ability to fall into deep, restorative sleep. That's because exercise, even light activity, stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight mode. Your heart rate stays up, your adrenaline lingers, your body thinks it's still on the move. And when your system stays wired late into the night, it interferes with your circadian rhythm, the natural cycle that tells your body when to wind down, recover, and restore. One of my patients, Mr. Lee, a 69-year-old retired teacher, used to take evening walks to tire himself out. He thought it would help him sleep, but instead he started waking up at 3 a.m., mind racing, heart fluttering. At first he thought it was anxiety, but after adjusting his walking routine to late morning instead of night, his sleep improved drastically. No medication, just better timing. What's even more important to understand is that poor sleep isn't just about feeling groggy the next day. It's directly linked to elevated blood pressure, increased inflammation, insulin resistance, and yes, irregular heart rhythms. Your heart doesn't just work hard during the day. It needs the quiet of night to heal, to balance, to reset. And if you're constantly disrupting that process, even with good intentions, your heart starts falling behind. So what should you do? Move your workouts to the morning or early afternoon. That way, your body gets all the cardiovascular benefits of movement without interfering with the night's natural healing. Keep evenings gentle and calming. Light stretching, deep breathing, maybe a little meditation. But let your heart and your nervous system know that the day is done. Conclusion and call to action. And now that we've explored all 5 of these hidden habits, I want to leave you with one final message. A heartfelt reminder that aging doesn't mean giving up. It just means choosing a wiser path. You've come this far, and that means something powerful. You're choosing to take care of yourself, not just for today, but for the years ahead. That's real strength. Maybe you saw yourself in one of the habits we talked about. Maybe you're already thinking about a small change you can make, and that's the point. It doesn't take a huge transformation. Just one smart choice done with care, repeated over time. Remember, your heart has been working hard for you every single day. It doesn't ask for much, just a little awareness, a little gentleness, a little respect for the season of life you're in. So today, let go of the idea that more is better. Choose wiser, not harder. Move with care. Rest with purpose. And above all, listen to what your heart has been quietly trying to say. If this video helped you see things differently, leave a comment below. Just one thing you're going to change starting today. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Better Seniors for more simple tips to help you live stronger and feel better every day. Take care, we're in this together.